Hi my beautiful people and welcome back. So for today's video, as you guys can see, we are in full beat. So for today's look, we are going to be reviewing and kind of doing like a first impressions on the Desi x Katy Friendcation palette. I know that this one came out a while ago and they did collaborate with Joseph Colors. So I know this one came out a few years ago, but I barely got my hands on it, and when I seen it, I knew that I wanted to create a look using it. So obviously this is what I created using the palette. So if you guys want to see how I achieved this look using the Joseph Colors Desi x Katy collaboration palette, then you know what to do and just continue watching. Alright, so to begin, I'm going to go ahead and take my Joseph Colors Meet Your Hue concealer. This is in the shade 13. I'm just going to take some of this and apply it to my eyelid. This one is like a really full coverage concealer, so I tried not applying too much just because I don't want it to feel too cakey on my eyelids. And then I'm going to go in with just a regular fluffy brush just to go ahead and blend that out. I obviously went ahead and I did my brows off of camera just to save some time, but if you guys are interested, I do have a eyebrow routine on my channel already. I'm not sure how long ago I filmed that, but if you guys want to see an updated eyebrow routine, it's kind of stayed the same. But again, if you guys want to see an updated brow routine, go ahead and let me know down below, and I'd be more than happy to film that for you guys already. So you guys all know that I don't set my eye when I put my concealer, just because I feel like the colors come out a little bit more vibrant. So I'm going to go ahead and obviously skip that step. If you feel more comfortable setting your eyelid, then you can go ahead and do so, but I'm going to just leave my eyelid just pretty much just with the concealer, and I just blend it out until I get a really clean surface. So for today's palette, I had just recently picked this one up. Obviously it did come out a long time ago. I want to say maybe like 2 years ago now, if I'm not mistaken. But I was actually on their website and I had came across it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get it, because I seen a lot of people, you know, were in love with this palette when it had came out, and still to this day I'm pretty sure. So the palette that we're going to be using today is the Friendcation Desi x Katy collab that they did with Joseph Colors. And honestly, when I opened this palette up, just the packaging of the actual palette is to die for. So it's like I don't even know what kind of like texture this is, and then in the bottom it just says Joseph Colors, and then in the back it says Desi x Katy, and then Friendcation, and then it has all the shade names. But as far as packaging, I do have one of their packages that looks like this, which is their collab as well, which is their highlighter. So I kind of already had a feeling that it was going to be the same like packaging and texture, but it's absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to put this like where I have my palettes, because I know this one's going to stand out the most. But if you guys have not seen the palette already, this is how the palette looks. So you do have your neutral colors, but you have your like pops of color right here, your little like pinky champagne kind of colors, and then again another pop of color. So I'm going to go ahead and use this palette today. I'm going to try and use as many of the shades as possible, but now that I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to probably just go in with like about 4 or 5 of the shadows. I mean, not too sure. I have a look in mind, so hopefully it comes out the way that I have it in my mind. So to start off, I'm going to take this. Let me get a brush that I can tell you guys the name, because that one does not have it. Okay, this one is the Morphe E23 brush. It's just a big fluffy brush. And I'm going to start by taking the shade Necessary, which is like the cooler taupey kind of color that's right in the middle in the top row. And this is going to act as my transition shade. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to the outer corner. So this one does look a little bit lighter, not too light in the pan, but as you guys can see, it did give me quite a bit of pigment. So again, just tapping that color and applying it all over my lid. This one's actually a really cute and necessary transition shade. I feel like this transition shade would go perfect with a lot of looks, just because it's not too cool, but it's not too warm. It's like a perfect brown. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue just to blend that into my crease. I think I'm going to do like a half cut crease. So again, since we are going to cut the crease right about here, I do want to take the colors kind of high So again, I'm just pretty much just going back and forth with that same color just to apply as much as I can. And then just wiping off my brush a little bit, but continuing to just deposit and blend. Okay, so now that we have that down, I'm going to go in with another fluffier brush. I'm going to go in with this Morphe M441 brush. Again, it's just another fluffy brush. Just looks like this. And then I'm going to go into the shade Churro, which is like a chocolate kind of brown color. This one did have a lot of like fallout when I tapped it into the brush. Again, super pigmented shadows, and it's pretty much just the same technique, but I do want to focus a lot of the shades and the darker shades on the outer corner of my eye here. Or actually, you know what, I'm going to switch it up, because I know I do a lot of half cut creases, so I'm actually going to do like a halo. I haven't done a halo. So pretty much what the halo is you pretty much just apply your transition shade and you apply the colors to the inner and the outer part of your eye. So I'm just going to make sure I apply some of that brown onto my inner corner. And then just obviously blending that out. I'm going to go in with a little bit more dense brush, but still I'm going to take that same shade Churro. This one is just like a flat shader brush, but still taking that same shade just to deepen it up a little bit more. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and first apply it to the outer and inner corner first. Just like that. And then I'm going to take that M441 brush. Okay. So then I'm going to take a kind of pointed brush. This one is the Morphe M505 brush. As you guys can see, it's just like a pointy kind of fluffy brush. And then I'm going to take that darkest brown, which is called Cheers, just to deepen up the entire look. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply that to the outer corner like so. And into the inner corner. Again, tilting my head back a little bit, making sure that that color goes right into the crease. So you guys can see it's starting to kind of give it that little halo, and obviously you're going to leave this little part in the middle blank. And then I'm going to wipe off my brush and then just slowly start to kind of connect those two shades in the middle. And then what I like to do is I still, on my end, I'm not sure if the camera picks it up, but I see like a little bit how it's not that much blended. So what I like to do is I like to go in obviously with a clean brush and take a little bit of Churro and that dark brown that we just used and kind of obviously apply it to wherever I see that is not blended. And obviously putting those two colors together, it obviously blends it out a little bit more. So I like to do that little trick when I see that like in certain areas of my shadow isn't, you know, blending out as I like it to. I kind of just get the two previous colors that I used and apply it to that area. Okay, so pretty much like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same concealer that I used to apply to my entire eyelid. But I'm just going to take a little bit on the back of my hand just like that. And then I'm going to take a flat brush, flat synthetic brush. And then I'm going to take that and pretty much cut my crease right about here. And I'll show you exactly what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and get closer. So I kind of just drag it down first like that. And then taking a little bit more. So it's pretty much like the same as you would as a half cut crease, except you're obviously just staying in the middle. Taking a little bit more concealer. And I do want it pretty wide, I guess. That way that shade that I'm going to use, you can see it. And then what I do is I kind of just just like that. So then what I'm going to do is just to kind of ensure that I still have some of that darkness on the outer corner, I'm just going to go back in and apply some. Okay, so obviously you guys can leave it like that too if you guys want to do more like of a neutral kind of spotlight, but I do want to add a pop of color. And I want to use as much of the shades in this palette as possible. So I'm going to go into that shade A Moment, which is that beautiful, beautiful kind of like mermaid turquoise kind of blue. There's a lighter one and then there's a darker one. I'm going to go in with the lighter one. And I'm going to apply that on... I'm going to apply that on this Macy's. This Morphe X Jaclyn Hill, the JH41 brush. Again, another flat, just synthetic brush. Not synthetic, it's like a more natural kind of hair brush. So I'm not sure if this shade is going to pick up with the brush. Oh yeah, it does look like it. Which is a good thing because normally shades like this, you have to apply it better with your finger. But, ooh, can you guys see how pigmented that is? Super, super pigmented. Again, this is only with one. I haven't dipped it back in. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just dip it back in. To give it like a little bit more of like a wet kind of look, I'm gonna go ahead and grab some. But then I'm gonna spray it with my setting spray. I'm going to dip back in just a little bit. Because don't get me wrong, it is a beautiful, beautiful blue. But I did think it was going to be like a little bit lighter. But still very, very gorgeous. So then what I'm going to do is, again, just going to go back into Cheers. Just to apply right about here. For some reason, that darker brown is coming off right about here. I'm not too sure why, but I do see it's not picking up like the intensity of that actual brown shade. It's kind of like, I think what I'm going to have to do is get a little bit more of that shade and just apply that over. Okay, I'm going to leave it as is. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my other eye off of camera, and then I will be back to apply lash. Okay, so I went ahead and I finished off the other eye. Now for the lashes, I am not too sure what style these are. I do have two lashes that are kind of similar. I want to say these are the Beauty Creations lashes in this style Restricted, but I am not too sure the other style that these remind me of. So I'm trying to find my glue. The other style that these lashes remind me of are Baddie B lashes in the style Saucy. Because they're like long and then short, long and then short. So that's kind of what these lashes remind me of. But I don't know if they're the Baddie B ones or the Beauty Creations ones. So, but those are like the type of lashes that I'm using. I'm going to go ahead and apply some glue first. And while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead and apply some of my mascara. While again the glue is drying, I'm going to go ahead and just take my primer. And this is the Frankie Rose primer. Just going to take that. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys out so we can go ahead and move on to the face. Okay, so now for the face, I'm going to go ahead and take my Beauty Creations foundation. It looks like this. And this one is in the shade 4.5. And I'm just going to, I don't know why I always do a 3 and a 1. I don't know. So just like that. And then taking my beauty blender, and then I'm just going to start to blend that out. The only thing I don't like about applying my foundation after my brows is I get super close like that, and then I'm kind of stuck. That's why I like doing my foundation and then brows, because I already have foundation by my brows and I don't have to worry about messing up my brows. Okay, so now that we have that all blended out, I'm going to go ahead and take my Dose of Colors concealer. You guys know it's the same one in the shade 13. So just like that. Then taking the tip of my beauty blender, so then now that I have that all blended out, I'm going to take my Laura Mercier Air translucent powder. Just going to get some. And then just start to kind of set my entire face everywhere else. So I'm going to finish with the eyes before I move on to the face. This Luxie 141 mini round brush. And I'm going to take that deepest brown, which was Cheers, and just apply that to the outer and inner corner of my eye. Okay. Then I'm going to go into this. Oh, it doesn't have, oh yeah, it does. It just says BMX 420 Detail Brush by Moda Pro. And then I'm going to take Churro and Necessary and just mix those two. And with this one I am going to connect, because this is going to be like the overall kind of shade that we're going to go in with. I'm going to take just an angled brush and take that A Moment shade and just apply that to the middle. I did apply it to my waterline just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go back into that first brush that we used just to deepen up the outer corners just a little bit more and blend it into this shade. So now that we are done with the eyes officially, now I'm going to go ahead and move on to my face. For my bronzer, I'm going to go in with my Morphe Glam Bronzer, Glamour Bronze in the shade Icon. And then I'm going to just take that on a angled brush. This is a Morphe brush. It doesn't have a number on it, but it does look like this. I'm going to take another just small flat shader brush just to contour my nose. And then I'm going to add some blush. This one is the Stila blush. Oh my god, what is wrong with mine today? And then on an angled brush, you guys know the brushes that I use already. Okay, and then just apply that to the apples of my cheek and kind of back into my bronzer. And then now for highlight, I'm going to go into my Anastasia Beverly Hills Amrezy highlighter. I haven't used this one in a long time, but I'm going to go ahead and take that on this Morphe Jeffree Star JS4 brush. It's like a huge fluffy brush. This one is the Morphe M510 brush, just so I can get like right in here, right there. See that? Because the other one was fluffy, so it did get like majority of my kind of cheek, but I wanted to focus it, you know, in some certain areas. Just applying some to the tip of my nose and then down. So that's pretty much it for the entire look. The only thing we have left to do is the lips. I kind of want to do like a really pale glossy nude. Says me every time, with every look, but I feel like it would match with it perfectly, just because I don't want to take like away from the eyes. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go in with my lip liner in the shade Sweet Tea by Morphe. Okay, so then for lipstick, I'm going to take Joseph Colors liquid lipstick in the shade Sand. And then for gloss, I'm going to take this MAC lip gloss in the shade See-Through. So that pretty much concludes this entire look. I really hope you guys did enjoy. As I said in the beginning, I didn't know what kind of shadow to do using the Desi X Katy Friendcation palette, but I obviously ended up coming out with this. I didn't think that it would come out like this. The only thing that I do have to say about that blue shade is, now that I'm seeing it kind of up close and I got a little bit closer, I do notice that it's a little bit sheer, even though you obviously can still see the blue. When you look at it up close, you can kind of see like the concealer peeking through just a tad bit, but I think it would work if you were to use maybe like something under that shade, just to adhere, you know, that blue shade, to make it really stick, and maybe even make it a little bit more pigmented. But overall, I really love how the look came out. I haven't been doing my makeup like in full beat like this in a really long time, and I feel that like the lip came out perfect with the lip, because it doesn't take away from the eyes too much. So I feel like it kind of pulled everything together, and I really hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys don't have this palette, I really do recommend using it. The shadows alone are really pigmented, and I feel like you can create a lot of looks with this. Like I did mention, you do have kind of like your, you know, your everyday neutral shades, but you have your pops of color, you have your blue, you have kind of like an olive green color, and then you have like your champagne and then like pinky colors, and then you do have like a lighter baby pink shade here. So I really do recommend this palette. I don't think I've ever had anything negative to say about Joseph Colors, so I'm really happy with how the look came out, and I know that I'm gonna definitely go back to this palette a couple of times. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you guys are not already, and it would mean the world to me. So that is pretty much all I have to say, and I will see you guys on the next one.